two teams coming off of huge wins as Arizona heads to Gamble Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut to take on the UConn Huskies on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Uh, Arizona coming off a grinded out game where they came back against UCLA and put UCLA away late. Uh, UConn staved off a huge run by the BYU Cougars. Uh, and it's a game between, for my money, two of the three best teams in the country right now. At least the way they've been playing. Uh, I'm Connor. He's Subi. Subi, you're an Arizona guy, but looking across the court at this UConn basketball team, what do you think the Wildcats have to do to beat what I think a lot of people believe after their win over BYU is the best team in the country?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm trembling. I'm shaking in my boots. I'm terrified of that UConn team, especially in stores. Um, and it's not necessarily what they've done this year. It's just 3 years running. Now, they like Connor, I tweeted this and I ended up being wrong because BYU did make it a game and it was a one possession game before Rob Wright broke my heart. That's all right, man. You'll bounce back. But UConn rinses quality teams. Like they just destroy good teams. Regular season NCAA tournament runs, etc. I mean, the highlighted by that Illinois run, right? If we remember, but they just destroy teams. And so I don't know. Like as an Arizona fan, I'm a little nervous for sure. But for Arizona basketball, right? For the personnel, I think it comes down to three things. One, Connor, rebound the basketball. I do think that's going to be an advantage for the Wildcats. I don't know if there's a ton of other advantages for them in this one, especially because folks, when it comes down to two top three, five teams, like venue is going to play a massive part. This being in stores is a massive, massive deal. But I do think Arizona can flex a little bit of muscle rebounding the ball, and they're going to have to, Connor, because UConn puts up, I think, double-digit points in second chance opportunities. That is a delta that'll win you a game. That's a delta that'll actually potentially run you out of the gym if you're Arizona. But if you give up 10 to 12 offensive, points off of like second chance opportunities, you're just not going to win in stores. I think also picking their poison defensively, right? UConn's pretty elite inside the 3 point arc. Uh, they're just shooting the leather off the ball. They're strong at the rim. They're strong at mid range. They really aren't missing, Connor. It's kind of crazy. Like UConn's not missing right now. They do kind of stink at the free throw line. So I don't know if it is a tight game. Maybe put them on the line, see how they do in the tight spot. Except for Alex Caravan, who just will not leave the country alone. He's even better this year. But I think Arizona's going to have to pick their poison defensively under the Tommy Lloyd regime the last 2 or so years. It seems as if Arizona just constantly gives up big 3 point shooting nights. So we'll see what happens here. And then for Arizona, number three, hit jumpers. I don't think they're shooting the ball very well from the mid range, especially. Braden Burries, truth be told, I'm not selling on him. I'm not worried. He's a freshman, albeit a 20-year-old, but his shot is broken right now. He is not shooting the ball very well at all. I like that he's still confident. He still gets him up. Keep going, young man. It'll fall, hopefully. But it's always kind of been the knock on Jaden Bradley, his jumper a little bit, although he hit a big time three against UCLA. But Arizona's going to have to hit jumpers because I think they're going to be there. UConn's not as good defensively than UCLA, I don't believe. So there are going to be some open looks. But I think really to wrap it all up for Arizona, the three keys: rebound the ball, pick their poison defensively. I don't know what that answer is. I'll yield to Tommy Lloyd. We'll see what happens, and then hit jumpers, especially in the mid range.
Yeah, I think when you go down the list and look at individual matchups, this game becomes even more just exciting, right? You've got two of the better point guards in the country in Jaden Bradley and Silas Demery. Both experienced, both have looked great early on this season. You've got the old guard in Alex Caravan at the four up against Koa Pete, star freshman who's had two great games and two one game, and then the game against UCLA we can try to forget. Um, you got Mo Crevis at 7-2 going up against a surprising Terrace Reed.
I'm not
Like
surprised, dude. I've always liked Terrace Reed.
I've liked Terrace Reed too, but I've never expected Terrace Reed to like be this, like be the way he's played. Because like last year, I feel like because of where he was in their rotation, and you had Samson Johnson coming in, I think Samson Johnson actually played more minutes technically than Terrace Reed. Like it wasn't the Terrace Reed show. And now that Terrace Reed, he got 35 minutes against BYU. Like it's the Terrace Reed show, and he's been great. Um, it's for me, it's the battle at the two and the three that are going to decide this game. Solo ball going up against Burries, but also like when you're talking about Arizona, I feel like if they can get Delorso coming off the bench at like the 2/3 to just bury shots on a consistent basis. Like it gives them a whole different dynamic to this team. He's always been kind of streaky for them. But his threes against UCLA were the difference in that game.
Mm-hmm.
4 of 7 from deep. He was 3 of 5 against Utah Tech. He was the opposite of the star freshman, where he had a pretty mediocre game, if you're going to be kind, against Florida, but a great game against UCLA. Scored 20 points. Uh, I feel like he's the best bench piece in this matchup. I know that UConn gets Malachi Smith off the bench, former Dayton transfer, but I think Delorso is the difference maker off the bench. But you also, for that matter, get Tobe Awaka off the bench. Like I feel like this is a game where if Arizona can force it deep into the bench, they almost want to. Um, but man, it's so hard because it's kind of evenly matched, in my opinion. Like UConn's defense might be the best, or offense might be the best unit on the floor. But I feel like Arizona has individual playmakers that can go on individual runs similar to what BYU did against UConn late in that game. And they have experienced guards that I don't think will dribble the ball off their foot in key moments.
I
Um,
hope not.
but but yeah, for me, it's one of those things where it's going to be the experience of UCLA, but I think Arizona's ceiling as a team is higher, or of UConn, experience of UConn. But I feel like Arizona's ceiling as a team is higher than UConn's ceiling, and so we'll see. This is an opportunity for Arizona to put together one of the best non-conference resumes in the past half decade or so, because they already have wins over Florida and UCLA. They could add a win over UConn. And then later on, they'll take on Auburn and Alabama, San Diego State. Like this could be heading into Big 12 play. One of the strongest non-conference resumes, and this is really their only like true road game in that slate. So what
Yeah.
what
No,
what
I
makes you
think,
confident? If I were to ask you, Arizona wins this game, what do you
mm,
think is the script for that?
well, that's a good question. I think it's Tobe Awaka neutralized. I think it's going to be a little bit like UCLA. I think it's Tobe Awaka neutralizing some of their front court guys because he's forged through the SEC fires. A lot of folks, like fans, maybe personnel might be intimidated. I'll put Tobe Awaka in like a gladiator arena. He can go into the Coliseum, dude. I am trusting one on one. He's gonna come out. Like Tobe Awaka is unfazed by anyone. On the flip side, I think Mo Krivas, who by the way showed me something against UCLA. I've been super critical of him, and I've been told to pump the brakes because he's coming back from injury. But my retort to that is I wasn't really buying into him pre-injury, especially in high leverage spots. I think he fouled out against Utah Tech, which is not a high leverage spot. But to his credit, against UCLA, he showed up pretty well, 10-8. So the script, can you give me something, Mo Krivas? Again, like you're stepping up a couple steps in weight class here, right? Going from UCLA to UConn in a true road environment. I'll tell you what, man, like Intuit Dome is Arizona. It was probably 50-50, right? Like you're going all the way to the East Coast now. It's going to be a cold night in November. So Mo Krivas is going to have to give me something. And then Braden Burries, right? Like I'm not being critical of him. I'm telling you guys, like I'm not one to overreact just yet, but his shot is not there right now to the tune of like, I don't know, less than 10 makes on the year. I believe you can feel free to fact check me on that. But Braden Burries is going to have to shoot the ball well. The only thing I'll push back on, Connor, with some of your points, and I'm glad you brought them up. So the bench, right? I agree. Arizona's bench is better. I just don't know if it's better in this environment. We know how the bench performs so much better at home, right? Like Malachi wasn't that great. Malachi Smith wasn't that great against BYU. It wouldn't surprise me if he pops off right in this game. Solo ball didn't shoot the ball well in the Garden. It wouldn't surprise me if he hits his first two or three threes in this matchup, right? Because it's going to be the marquee matchup, possibly of the season, certainly of the early season. And Arizona fans feel fortunate because people were saying that about Florida opening night. This is going to be our night as well against UConn. And then I wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Ross plays well. Again, the venue matters, and those could be the differences. And while I do think on a neutral floor, Arizona's bench is better, it may not be the case tonight. But the only thing I'll push back on Connor is the experience. So I have a lot of respect for Matt McCall. I think he's great, certainly on TV. Um, Calbert Cheney was was on the pregame show against UCLA. They kept saying like UCLA's got the experience and Arizona's got the young guys. Arizona's got experience too, by the way. Like Jaden Bradley is there, Anthony Delorso is there, Mo Krivas is a junior. Yeah, Koa Pete's awesome. Yeah, Braden Burries is a freshman. Dwayne Aristode might give you some minutes as well. Tobe Awaka's a senior. Like Arizona's not inexperienced. I hope people know that. And I just think it's very lazy for people to automatic. I have no issues if you pick against Arizona, but unless it's like your Zags or BYU who are crazy older, I don't know if I necessarily buy the inexperience thing. I actually think Arizona has a nice mesh and blend of young guys with older guys with experience. And by the way, their best player is not from a talent perspective, but their best player is Jaden Bradley, and their best closer is Jaden Bradley, who's also been through a ton of fires.
Yeah, I guess the experience comment comes more from the fact that they have what, four freshmen who play like 18 minutes a game. Um, so it's just it's a big road environment. Um, we can get into predictions. I might go against the grain. I don't know what you're thinking. But I think the best player on the floor in this game is on the Arizona side in Jaden Bradley.
Ooh, I
I
love
think
the
the best
respect.
player on the floor in this game is a point guard on the Arizona side in Jaden Bradley. I think if there's any way to steady the boat in a tough road environment against one of the best teams in the country, it's Jaden Bradley, Anthony Delorso coming off the bench, just having been there, right? And yes, Mo Krivas has been there, Tobe Awaka has been there, but from players who will have the ball in their hands trying to make plays, having the best player on the floor do that is important. And he might not be the highest ceiling guy, but he I believe has the steadiest hand in this game. I think Arizona comes out hot. I think they handled a much tougher defense in UCLA than UConn had to go up against in BYU. Um, they won a game in a pseudo road environment against UCLA. UConn has played one tough game. It was a pseudo home environment against BYU. I think Arizona is much better than BYU right now. Um, I think we could see a game where Arizona opens up like a 3 to 4 possession lead at the half against UConn in this game. UConn will make plays. UConn will make pushes. But man, I think Koa Pete's in for a bounce back. I think this Arizona team is going to be in a situation where it's like we can't score under 70 points again. Like this is a Tommy Lloyd offense. We can't look like we looked at times against this UCLA team. I'm gonna take Arizona 81, UConn 78. I,
I
I
like
think Arizona pulls off the road when I think they continue their run. I think right now Arizona's playing the best basketball in the country. Um, and I don't think that stops here.
Okay. I mean, this is going to be an amazing, amazing basketball game. Really settle in and enjoy it. I agree with you that Jaden Bradley is the best point guard in this matchup. I think the best player on the floor is going to be Alex Caravan. And it hurts me a little bit to say, not because I got anything against him, but just because I'm an Arizona fan. I marvel at Alex Caravan in his career. But I think the way he started this season, shooting the ball especially, but there was one sequence against BYU that just encapsulated him perfectly. He hit a massive corner three, loses the defense, hits the three, and then gets on the floor to get the ball back on the defensive side. Right. Like that's just Alex Caravan to a T. He's a winner. He's one of the greatest Huskies ever. I think his strong season is going to continue. And then I also think the home bump for the bench is going to prove in or sway towards UConn. Like I think Solo Ball is going to shoot a little bit better. I think Malachi Smith's going to be a little bit better. This is going to be a battle though. And what's interesting with these two programs, Connor, is they met, I think, last in a back to back in 2017, 2018. I don't think Hurley was the head coach in 2017. Sean Miller was on the Arizona side. And then the following year, I believe Arizona was one of the last two meetings, by the way, when they were in Connecticut. Can't remember if it was Hartford or Stores or wherever it was, but it was Hurley's inaugural season, I believe, and they lost that too. You fast forward 7 years later, and Arizona's still trying to itch and claw to a Final Four with a new head coach now, and Hurley's basically at the close to the top of the basketball world. So it's just very interesting. But in this particular game, I think we're going to see two high level teams going at it. I got UConn edging this out 88-84. I'm telling you, I'd feel a little bit more confident in taking Arizona if it was anywhere else. Stores is a different beast. Huskies win 88-84. Before we get out of here, though, Connor, let me ask you, is it fair to say the winner of this team or the winner of this game should be number one in the country? I don't care about rankings that much this early, but is it fair to say that if whoever wins this game should leapfrog Purdue and Houston or no?
Purdue, maybe. I mean, Houston to me has not shown anything that has indicated that they shouldn't be ranked number one. Um, they had a tough game against Auburn in what was kind of a road environment. But they've kind of handled business outside of that. They've looked really good. But I mean, certainly if Arizona wins this game, like they're in the driver's seat for the number one overall seed.
They'd have the best resume in the country thus far. It's very early, but like
Yeah.
three top 10 wins,
Yeah. Yeah.
15 wins.
So, yeah, I mean, depending on where you think Florida
You,
actually finishes, and
well,
where you
I
think
mean
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's fair to argue that the winner of this game should be ranked number one. Um, but I do think that for me, it's still Houston because I think until someone like beats Houston, or Houston looks bad against mediocre talent, like it'll still be Houston. Um, but we'll see because it's the biggest game. It's a big weekday game. In what has been an incredible start to the season. We will be back after the game to break down everything that happened, whether Arizona wins or UConn wins. I'm Connor. He's Subi with Sleepers Media, and we will talk after the game.